The European club season wraps up this weekend. The major leagues in England, Spain, Italy, France, Germany conclude. This was a year like none other. And today here on the Soccer OG, we will recap what we saw here. It was a season that began with hope as we were beginning those steps away from the pandemic. In some ways, it remained with us even by season's end, but we saw fans coming back. This was a year that saw the creation and collapse of the Super League. There is a lot here. It gave us that hope. It gives us a gateway to a new cycle as we head towards an incredible summer of tournaments, many of which were supposed to happen last summer. It will lead into the World Cup cycle of 2022. It also included an American revival and some new stars. So we will talk about all of that. Let's start with the leagues, and one of the reasons we look at the Super League and why it seemed to have a lot of legs is the top clubs in every country kept winning. Well, we saw a little buck of that trend here in 2021. Bayern Munich won their 9th straight Bundesliga shield. So same old there, although the last couple years they have been pushed, I would imagine, based on what we've seen elsewhere, some other German club is going to move ahead. I would put my money on RB Leipzig, which would be incredible, and get to a story we're going to talk about a little bit later. We did see the end of the reign of Juventus, 9 straight titles, enter the new Serie A champion. That was huge. And now Juventus scrapping. They need help on the final weekend to make it to the Champions League. That is pretty significant. A Champions League without Juventus is a big punch in the face of the Super League, I'll tell you that. Over in Spain, Atletico Madrid beat Valladolid, who are in the bottom 3. They beat Valladolid this weekend. They will win their first Spanish championship since 2014. The last 6 years, it's been Barcelona and Real Madrid. So that is a switch. And Barcelona and Real Madrid, part of that Super League inner circle. Well, that's pretty significant as well as we see a change. France. We don't know just yet. Lille stubbed their toe this past weekend against Saint-Étienne. But if they can beat Angers, they need a victory. Angers are 12th. Angers would love to spoil it. Or maybe they do a solid because everyone in France is sick of PSG. I don't know if that's the case. I would imagine Angers are going to have the thrill of trying to spoil it. Lille win. That'd be their 4th title, first since 2011. PSG has won 7 of the last 8 titles in France, so that's a replenish. And PSG is also viewed as this big, bad club. So Lille coming in shows that outside of that inner circle of super clubs, there can be success. That said, PSG could win it. But Lille to get this far is a development. By the way, Lille's going to get decimated after this year, and they're going to fall off the map, especially with Champions League football. So enjoy the story while it's here. I hope they can finish it. What about in the Premier League? We got a new champion. I know it was Liverpool last year. We got a new champion. It shows the cyclical nature there, as Manchester City will win their 3rd title in 4 years. And it brings me to the Premier League because this league that we always say is the best league in the world. It wasn't the best league in the world last year. It really can't be claimed unquestionably the best league over the last year. There's an argument to have it said here. But this year it was the best league. And it is setting the table for next year to be the best league by, in my estimation, some distance, because the other leagues are laboring a bit. I don't know who's going to keep pace with them. We see the 2 finalists in the Champions League, Manchester City and Chelsea. We see Liverpool having a rough year with so many injuries and issues. They're going to be back in a big way. Manchester United, for all the criticism that we've seen this year, they are going to have a huge year, I believe. I think this year is setting it up for next year. This is going to be, I think they win the Europa League. This will be their biggest year since 2013. Next year is going to be bigger for them. So you have a definitive big 4 in England. Arsenal and Spurs, we need to see a little bit more. But Leicester City has made a push to be a big 4-5 club. They're not going anywhere, and they got the money in the coffers. They do everything the right way, and they won the FA Cup this weekend, so they're adding trophies. Leicester's here to stay, and that's why the Premier League is going to be so good, because the middle class is improving. Leeds United has the potential of being a special team. I think Aston Villa has that potential. I'm a West Ham fan. I'm not sure they do, but why not? The list goes on. The Premier League having a massive year is a big part of what we saw in 2021. And it's part of the Super League because, they're paying a heavy price, those big clubs. But where Juventus and Barcelona and Real Madrid struggled, the Super League clubs like Chelsea and Manchester City, Liverpool, have finished strong, have caught a flame. So the leagues have been very interesting. Of course, as I should have mentioned earlier, no fans, no supporters was a huge story. We knew that, and I don't want to keep repeating that because you know it. You know these games are terrible without fans. We're seeing some fans now. We saw it at the FA Cup. Great news. Major League Soccer in particular is going to have a lot of fans. 40,000 in Atlanta. That was the most post-pandemic fans in a game anywhere. So here we go. What about the players? There's been a changing of the guard the last year. Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo were always the clear-cut top two. You could argue they still are. They're still putting up incredible numbers. But the mess that Barcelona's become, I think, takes some of the shine off of Messi. He is not playing on teams that are playing well. I think that takes away a little bit, maybe more than a little bit, from his claim to the throne of the best player in the world. Cristiano Ronaldo still plugs away, and what happens with him next year is going to be a big story. The summer is going to be a huge story as to see who goes where. They're being pushed. And we talk about Kylian Mbappe, and we talk about Erling Haaland. Both had incredible seasons, and both should be getting better. They are still in diapers career-wise. Kylian Mbappe's already put together a lot of titles, but he missed it with PSG and really came a little bit flat in some games. We expected some more, and he had the injury issues late too. Robert Lewandowski is going to be the golden shoe. Incredible years for Romelu Lukaku. Neymar showed some signs of life now that he has committed his future to PSG. That should be interesting. It's going to be crowded at the top for the best players, but a lot of guys are making their claim for that spot, and there's about 10 of them. But it's no longer Messi, Ronaldo. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with both Messi and Ronaldo next year and moving forward. I believe Messi stays at Barcelona. I don't know if that's his best route, but it's his life, and whatever makes him happy makes me happy. We saw that with the players. We saw some great young players, and that happens every year. So that's nothing different about 2021 that we have seen in past years. But we will see these young players grab that moment. Because guys like Jadon Sancho, who look like great young players, kind of flatlined a bit. But then Jude Bellingham comes out of the way. And other incredible players from South America, everywhere, that will continue to push this narrative. Now, the final thing, and I talk about it a lot because this is something we've never experienced, and I'm coming from the United States and I'm seeing it from my perspective, but the record year that we had for Americans in Europe. It starts with Christian Pulisic, who finished very strong here. He only got 20 minutes in the FA Cup. I ain't going to dwell on that. Hopefully he gets the minutes in the Champions League. But a long list of guys. The guys in the Bundesliga, John Brooks, Chris Richards, Josh Sargent, all playing all the time. Matthew Hoppe playing a lot, scoring a goal this weekend. I think he might end up in a better situation somewhere in a first division club, maybe in Germany. But he scored a goal that did Dortmund a solid with Gio Reyna, who is obviously playing regularly as well. Dortmund's going to qualify for the Champions League. Guys winning trophies. Zach Steffen winning a trophy with Manchester City. Serginho Dest winning a cup with Barcelona. Having that moment. Tim Weah could win a French championship with Lille. This is tremendous silverware situations for top clubs. And it was a record year for American players playing in the Champions League, and I've talked about that in last episodes. Records everywhere. Guys on rosters in the 16, guys who would play, guys who made rosters from the group stages. Record. And that could be a record that's broken next year. We know there's going to be guys that are going to be playing the Champions League again. Probably Christian Pulisic, Serginho Dest, Gio Reyna, Tyler Adams. He could be joined by a couple Americans. I think Brendan Aronson projects to go there. Caden Clark. We have Jesse Marsh coaching that team. You talk about Chris Richards maybe going back to Bayern Munich. I don't know if he'll play, but he'll be possibly not a featured guy, but a guy who plays some games there for Bayern Munich. Tim Weah will be likely in the Champions League if he remains with Lille. I would imagine that's the case. Zach Steffen, we wait and see. but there's some guys that could add to that list. And it's tremendous to see what's going to happen, as this is going to be a regular occurrence, and this all means growth for the sport here in the United States. An incredible season. None of us will ever forget it. We thank the players, the coaches, the referees, the broadcasters for doing all the work to make it possible, because this was a year we all had to be at home and watch it. Remember, we got games staggered. They wanted us to watch the games at home, so they would go game. They used to put them all at the same windows, and you wouldn't watch everything. We could watch everything. I watched more football than I've watched in many years, maybe ever, these last 9-10 months. So there you have it. And now we get ready for an incredibly busy summer, and I will preview that in my next Soccer OG. And a reminder to check out the Soccer OG podcast. There's one out right now where I am joined by Jimmy Conrad, and we talk about Christian Pulisic and where his future lies. Is it at Chelsea? Is it somewhere else? It is available where all podcasts are available. The Soccer OG podcast. Easy. Here on YouTube. There on podcasts. We'll see you very soon. It's going to be a fantastic summer. Enjoy the final weekend of the European leagues.